yeah, just still through on the second, so we're not quite sure who they're going to have to play off against until that one finishes off. But you want to get that spot secured in. You want to, have the potential. Just one more BO3 is all it would need. But of course, it starts here with this Vertigo, right? You've got to put your best foot forward. We are about ready to get into the action with this one here, folks. Just as that pistol round getting kicked off. The knife, I believe, was won by Endpoint. Pretty sure that is the fact. And of course, they start on that CT side because of the knife win. So, see what they can do from the CT end and the beginning position they've given themselves.
Or a stack. Just heavy gun on his own. He's got a kit, so that means no body armor. And wow, he's in for a lot of trouble here. He might even have to think about playing retake. Here we go then. Nades flying over and heavy god up against the world, stuck behind his default pillar. Does get one. And I guess the good news is the kit is dropped near the site, I believe. So retake is on now, but no nades. They'll have to do it all with headshots.
Yep. Dangerous territory. Smoke's not going down for another few seconds, so really going to be tough here to move their way in. They're going to try and go for a bit of a cheeky triple boost, and Surreal does indeed get it up. He finds 2 off the back of it, so there you go. Retake setup paying dividends. Now all down to Roman, can't find a single player, and that'll be a hell of a clean pistol coming in from Mighty Max and the boys.
I don't think I've ever seen that boost before,
Yeah, I think I'd be
I don't think I've
agree.
ever seen it. It's pretty epic. I mean, they had the sAw guys had literally no idea, and once Rat's shots started flying off, you could see them completely flummoxed. So, yeah, nice little trick. And although it's only a small thing, Endpoint wouldn't be able to bring something like that out on Nuke. Vertigo's a different story. They have so much experience across these players now on this map. So, perfect start for them. With the bomb plant, sAw can invest. And as we've seen a lot of times in this series already, these second rounds, you do not count sAw out of these.
Yeah, the smoke as well. Roman is very cheeky. He will get taken down, but trade opportunities there. And that's fairly comfortable then from the T side. And they're working around these smokes pretty well to get themselves quite far up ramp unexpectedly. Heavy God looking comfortable on Vertigo so far. He was on B in the pistol round. He's now on A once the guns come out. So that might be something to, just sort of consider. He wasn't really a part of the plan for the triple boost. He's actually an A player. Oh, God. Oh, God. That's so awkward. Mutirius catches him lined up. They really did not think at all that anyone would move in from Ivy. So, because of those 2 kills, this round, for me, does not look retakeable.
Looking for some duels. If I had a Molotov, it'd be great, but not to be. Smoke lined up. I should head over towards the default boxes, but yeah, I mean, Mutirius gets just out of dodge, but this is not on this retake, and all the rifles hit the deck. That is catastrophic after such a brilliant pistol round. Endpoint just can't win these crucial moments when the economy's on the brink like they are in a second round. That's a disaster, and now sAw bit of anguish from giving up that pistol retake. It doesn't matter now. This is a better position than winning the pistol. Look at this buy from Endpoint. It's disastrous.
Yeah. Yep. Always is the case. We often talk about this, don't we, when we're casting together, is, should we double eco from this position, because the follow-up rifle buy from the CT side is going to be really bad in terms of the utility and whatnot. So the default force buy after you lose the force buy after winning the pistol, if you can bear with me on that sentence, is maybe not always the move. But here on Vertigo, I think you can kind of get away from it. Rifles, I think, play a much bigger part than utility usage on the CT side.
The funny thing, isn't it? Because once you get the first round reset, right, the extra loss bonus, oh my god, the extra loss bonus goes out the window for both teams. So it's like the old economy. It's like the old economy when you lost pistol. And what is going on here? Too many duels being offered up. Max and MHL just getting a lot of fights. Surreal, if he didn't get checked, and indeed he doesn't immediately. Oh my lord. Okay, well, could be on for some more force by wins
certainly potential of it. A couple flashes to come round. 4v2. No one going down to the Molotov. No one really pushed away. The utility is keeping them at bay at least for a few seconds to allow that bomb or to go down. MHL with the silver shot secures the round, and surreal indeed it feels such as they take this round here on the Endpoint side.
The point I was making that now is a bit nullified is that towards the very latter stages of the old economy system, people wouldn't fall for a second round. They'd save 600 or 700 or 800 to ensure that first buy to be good. And we don't see that now when people get reset. That could be because now how the loss counter stacks up and it doesn't fall off immediately. That's quite a big change, but yeah. There are a few teams that would fairly heavily eco. I remember Ecstatic did it a lot last year, but it seems to be the trend that everyone just assumes that full forcing is always the best play. It's the sort of question that if we had really good stats, everyone would know what to do. But we don't. So we're all just guessing.
Yep. So, first proper rifle round it feels like coming in here. The Galils are not fantastic, but this is as close as we're going to get, I think, until a team can stabilize the win, stabilize their economy, therefore. It's
a pretty good buy considering they just lost to a force buy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's not. They must have saved a lot of money through when they won their force buy. Has to be the case. Not too shabby. I mean, there's only one AK, but rifles in the mix, and it's not like there's an AWP that can really punish them for a lack of nades and they take map control. MHL is here, of course, rifle in hand. Re-smoke on that ramp, and Mysterious has got a little bit of space here in mid. He's going to put this kind of B split smoke down. Put Endpoint a little bit on edge. So they don't really have a lot of vision, but yeah, for now, a lot of pressure applied to this Endpoint squad.
Mighty Max finding Muterius on the edge of the smoke. A good early pickup. An Ivy pop to come through. They're playing very passively here on the A-bomb site, so somewhat ready for this, you would say, but MHL is going to fall pretty early. Heavy God's got to be careful. He's also going to go down. U-Jerk's entering in clean as you like. 4 versus 3 with no utility on either side of the equation. Here, Nuts with a double spray down, though. Just blind charging in. Makes it look doable once again. There's going to be a retake smoke down. Max is on low HP. He's the one with the kit. Going to go for the tap and the hold. Oh, they are so damn close. They nearly missed out on him. Surreal's going to try and hold, but U-Jerks, he's got the other side of the bomb. Does not happen. And despite the heroics of Nerd, sAw will find the second.
Yeah, Heavy God just kind of commits to his angle. I don't think it would have been so bad if the players in Heaven would be like ready to swing and trade or ready to fight at the same time. Maybe that would have been really good, but he just sort of ended up taking a one-on-one when he's on a left eye angle. It's not the best fight. And here we go again, Scrib. I mean, it's been nobody's established economy at all. But the longer this goes on, it just feels like the T side is just so much cheaper, isn't it, to get up a good buy that surely they're going to win out in the end.
Flash with the smoke. Heavy got denied away any kind of chance. But moving in towards A, they will ring off a good number of shots, get that utility down. Roman through the smoke. Seals the deal on this one. 5 on 3. I think Max and Nerds especially will want to save. So we are on the sAw show at the moment.
Starting to look really good for sAw as well, isn't it? I mean, they're already on the weaker side and they're just trading rounds, and now they're going to get some economic control. Getting a little bit scary, and for Endpoint, they got the pistol, so they kind of got everything they wanted coming into this map. Simple CS in this round. Seems thus far that the ramp is reasonably open for business. Endpoint haven't fought it, obtusely hard just yet. Could change when the real rifles are out, but yeah, sAw. I mean, if they ended a round that wasn't on A yet, it seems to be on pretty much every time. Minus the pistol, of course.
Yeah, I think that A's been the place to go. So working these bursts really, really effectively. and just catching Endpoint, you know, with too safe of a setup, or then when they go for an aggressive setup, they're sort of all over the top of each other. Endpoint CT sides, essentially, for me, just don't look well-oiled, let's say.
At this point, they've fallen into retake a lot and just haven't really had the nades, have they, to put up a compelling actual retake when it comes in. They had that last one where they were just sticking the smoke in, sticking inside the smoke by default, and it was just like, you know, if we had just one molly onto sandbags with an extra smoke to the Ivy side, maybe that could really have been possible, but just not really enough offered up. Max is okay.
Roman. Wanted that third out from him. No, it's going to take down Roman, I suppose, which, you know, they've not invested all that much, so nice to just find a kill. Fresh USP for nerds.
Be an interesting buy round to follow. If you watch nerds, he's very unlikely to get a lot more out of this one, and indeed he doesn't, because, I mean, look at this buy from Endpoint. No AWP. Nades are going to be a little bit limited. I wonder what they're going to go for. I mean, there's actually no kits in the mix yet. Max would be doing very well here if he can pick that up, and they don't have one, so no mollies. No kits. I don't think they can play retake again if it comes to it on A, so we'll see what they choose to go for. Looks like Free are heading here towards the start at the moment. And yeah, a bit of a change-up.
Nice nade on towards Just. That's the way that we break the... Ooh, silence in this round. Heavy God. Waiting. He wants to spam back, and he walks into Roman as Roman tries to get cheeky through the smoke. He's also going to make a good escape. So there you are. The first pick comes in. This time for Endpoint. Will be traded pretty quickly. You jerks. All too easy for him. Surreal. Tracking down Just. Actually gives him a lot of respect, which allows him to kind of get away. So he's still a 4-on-4.
Ooh, good kill from Surreal. He does track down Just in the end. That's a massive lifesaver. It takes so much pressure off these A guys. Oh, if they had one grenade, Heavy God would be a dead man. Molly as well. Story might be able to see him under those pallets for that little gap. See as he makes his way up. As actually materializes all the way up Ivy. Maybe if he can get a timing. I don't think Max is looking his way. And he does just the right time. And Heavy God, for the moment, unchecked. Story's not really looking his direction. And yeah, 1-2 punch does work perfectly in the end.
You jerks. Solid stuff. Looking to try and just take some guns away at the end of this round. Can't get it done. 3 survive. Endpoint, they'll hit that third as well, to be fair, on the board. And looking to find themselves a few more strung together, as sAw had been dominating in the early rifle rounds, but Endpoint are back.
Yeah, so they threw an interesting smoke there. I don't know if you caught it. Max for a smoke that landed on the sandbags by the top of yellow. So that presumably you can come out onto the platform and one way over the top. I don't think I've seen it before. So keep an eye on that. I think Max throws it from the right side of the A site, so keep an eye on that minimap. Number 1. This time it's going to be more of a standard smoke. Looks like to be the smoke down the yellow, and indeed it is. But yeah, they got some tricks up their sleeve. Throw in the boost as well, and they've been thinking about their theory on Vertigo, that's for sure.
A lot of spamming all the way down. There's a little gap above the smoke down there, so side got to be careful of it, but just spams and spams and spams being traded at the moment. A much more slow wind up the ramp here. And Story, of course, on the cracks. He's spotting a player, trying to find him, gets the tag onto Heavy God, but not by the frag. Damage comes back in. Heavy God actually very nearly kills Story off. So lots of early damage done, but no kills.
sAw really not pressuring anywhere else on the map right now. Endpoint are so confident to keep this A lane. Actually, there's a bit of a window. There's nobody covering Ivy right now. Oh, my lord. They fully found the gap. Noise Cues could give it up. They decide to push into the ramp, and it's just going to rock in a hard place. Get absolutely sandwiched. Wow, that timing was incredibly unfortunate, but I don't know. Endpoint were kind of double dipping, weren't they? They had an A stack.
Yeah.
They fight A, then they give up, and then they decide to fight A again.
It seems they don't have the most confident Ivy players either. You know what I mean? We've seen that an awful lot, that they leave that area open, and yeah, their confidence is maybe a little bit knocked from the last map. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure what is causing this at the end of the day.
So something that's worth noting is that Nerds, as I call them, like the mid B player, they're the one that start mid a lot, throw some nades, and then come over to help B, and then Surreal is the B anchor. They played those spots for such a long time. It's MHL and Heavy God being integrated into the system. So you could look at it from that perspective of, in terms of there being gaps and mistakes, it's considerably more likely they're going to be found on A than B. Not quite enough to buy. I think one more save gun and they're buying. But it's just MHL, so all eyes on him. He needs to find some openings. I think maybe disappointing is a strong word, but I've been a little bit disappointed that MHL hasn't been a bigger part of Endpoint CT sides. I think that's a fair statement. When you're going from Crucial to MHL, what I'd love to see is him being unleashed. I want to see MHL all over the map. I want to see so many different looks, and I feel like MHL is playing pretty standard for all of this series.
Yeah, still maybe time to work it out. I think there are a few standard fixes that they've got, like Heavy God on their T sides has just been a hard lurk. There's not really much else to it, which, the hard lurking role is not as popular a thing in these days of Counter-Strike. And even then, it's only sort of on certain maps, not every single map, every single round of T side. MHL going to go down in the end. The AWP gets dropped, so it doesn't get saved a second time around. He does have enough for it, but it would be glass cannon, so not going to go for it. In fact, it'll be the M4 buy. Much smarter, I think. Yeah, it's hard to make a glass cannon work on Vertigo, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's also the value of an AWP is not as... If you're playing... what would be a good example? CT side nuke even. AWP is so valuable for the sightlines. It's not the same. It's not the same. ZywOo famously, on the fully French Vitality lineup, would rifle. Because he just knew he could get more value out of it. So you don't get a statement bigger than that from a player like ZywOo. Got this ramp smoke out in play. We've seen this a lot more recently in the meta. Allows you to one way over the top like Roman is at the moment. Take some different jewels. And we'll see how this one goes. I mean, re-smoke from MHO just in time. Roman can't see him. Oh, it just feels like a matter of time to get a big fight and choose here on A.
Ooh, double nade stack at the back end of 90 there. That's kind of cool. Surreal eats both of those, left on 13 HP, and he's not even seen anyone yet.
You'd love to get back to default as well, because then he can play a headshot angle, and Roman finds the gap. Heavy got called upon next. Takes a lot of damage for his trouble. As sAw start to press the issue on A. Bomb is here, but Just is still on the other side of the map. So they've got options. They don't need to overcommit anywhere right now. Bomb is heading back between the sites, and Endpoint, luckily enough for them, the A pressure hasn't been enough just yet to force them out of still having 2 on B. Oh, look at this timing. It's awful.
Although, Surreal does get the drop onto Just as he's looking away, maybe checking his angle. Over at Hazard, Surreal's going to be the only one left. Nerds is quick to get back. 30 seconds. Heavy God still remains. Down goes Story. In comes the info as well off the back of that, I would imagine. Heavy God's going to hear all the running underneath him and just kind of has to get ready in some kind of a off angle, which is exactly where he's at. Defuse. Tiris spots him. And he's low enough to finish off into a 2-on-2. How's it going to go down? It's going to go down to Nertz and Mutiris here, the planter. And the final retaker. Keen headshots from both sides required. Nertz just playing slowly, surely. Checking the angles. Mutiris with an off. His backpack gets spotted and he wins the spray duel. sAw move up to 7. An Endpoint they just cannot buy around right now.
No, they can't. I even think sAw got a little bit flustered there at the end. They could have played it better, but it didn't matter. That nade stack on Surreal was perfect, wasn't it? They're almost unlucky. It didn't fully kill him outright. Ooh. This is getting rough. This is getting really rough now for Endpoint. they're keeping the rounds. I mean, it's not like this T-side money is completely out of control. I mean, they're keeping rounds reasonably close. They just can't get them over the line. They can't get a clean entry and just convert it. It's been such a grueling fest so far. And yeah, I think towards A, they're not getting openings, and they're using a lot of nades and a lot of resources to try and fight for it right now. I wonder if there's a different avenue to trying to win this CT side.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's very tough.
I know they have different setups that could play this map a very different way.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how long until they're going to pull them out.
We need a timeout soon, I think. It feels like across the course of this series, they may be more confident on their T sides just because of the way that it has panned out. But like you say, they're going to need more of a bolster on that CTN for sure. MHL finds only one.
There's two ways to look at it. Do you switch up how you're playing A, or do you start saying, okay, well, they're always coming there with so many numbers, maybe we can, take space somewhere else. Maybe we can start 2 mid, and the moment we hear them scaling up ramp, we push with 1 player, or something like this. You don't always have to take the head-on fight, which isn't always obvious to a lot of CS teams up to a very high level. So I'll be very intrigued to see what changes next. As I say, Endpoint definitely have options. I know they can play different styles of Counter-Strike on the CT side. And I just really wonder what they're going to call into next. Big decisions because, I mean, what's too little? Is 5 rounds too little? They got to get on the CT board very soon.
Well, into round number 12 then. U-Jerk's going in nice and fast towards B. A good response off and after a timeout is to just pick up the pace. Surreal's going to eat that nade. And they're onto him. Volleyed off. Another nade onto Heavy God here. So a lot of damage coming in. MHL going to try and get cheeky and find an angle. But there's only 1 player down there.
I think this is the change-up. I think they've said, Heavy God, you play into yellow this time. Play as far down the bottom as you can. MHL will be here to try and help. But it's a little bit scary, and Heavy God on his low HP does actually have to give it. He could really use MHL's smoke, actually, to keep him there for longer. And yeah, unless MHL can find a pick, we're going to be kind of back where we started in previous rounds, because they're just going to get pushed off, and we've got no nades to really play a retake. Heavy God's clearly pointing at a boost, so maybe that is the next move.
More utility coming down from the SAW end.
They got the numbers.
Heavy God. Ready to go. Contact around the corner. Finds one with nade in hand. It's now on to Mighty Max to get the double. MHL was in with the support of the AWP, and just like that, 3 of them strike in unison. Absolutely beautiful attack on towards Ram to get Endpoint at 4th. More likely than not.
Looks good, but part of me can't help feeling it was a bit of a dice roll, wasn't it? I mean, if SAW are more trained for that, I think it could easily have gone the other way. They're always so risky, those fights, but I guess that's where Endpoint's at is, we don't think we can play retake, we don't think we've got the nades. Let's take the fight to them. It's the only option we've got left when we've got this many players on A, so yeah. I mean, it's nice to see them being more proactive, if for nothing else. I'm still yet to be convinced that this CT side is up to snuff. I just know that SAW are going to be good when this side flips over.
What do you reckon? They have to get all 7 or at least 6? What's the scoreline they're looking for?
I haven't seen them play T-side Vertigo for a long time. It's a little bit tricky. I mean, I think 6 is winnable. I think 7 is a lot more comfortable.
Yeah. U-Jerk's down to 16. Endpoint at the very least for me have got to get that 5 and get it fast to remove some of the pressure. So this round very important. Smokes and flashes go down to keep the ramp control coming their way. MHL, it's nice to see the timeout. I think definitely did say that we need to be a bit more active with that AWP, a bit more active on ramp. And, you know, it may well have taken a voice from the bigger boys, as it were, to say, you guys need to just... Yeah, you guys need to do that yourselves as well, because it is the newer additions who are maybe a bit more timid and don't want to mess with the system by having some freedom. Roman takes out Heavy God. MHL sticking around on the AWP. Trying his damnedest to get a catch. There's one. Story. Oh, it could have been the next, but the flick too big. 4v3. Low HP bars. The nade should finish off a player here in the form of U-Jerks. It does indeed. Just holding down towards ramp. Roman's been spotted at the sandbags. This is not out of the question now, you know. Molotov goes in. Roman going to get forced out to the right and finished. Pretty good stuff. The one thing they were lacking was a smoke on the bomb. There it is. Need someone to get on it. Someone to cover. Story's going in nice and close with the AWP. No scopes at the back end. Will go down. Will get traded. Player with the kit gets on the bomb in the form of Mighty Max, and I think there is enough time there for number 5 comes in over the line, but my goodness, is it chaotic.
I mean, that was Herculean. I mean, yeah, that felt like all she wrote after MHL went down, but I guess he stayed alive just long enough for those rotators to get close, and it from there was just absolute carnage. Heavy God's having a really troublesome game.
Yeah,
I know the ADR says he's doing okay, but it just feels like, I don't know what it is, but him and MHL are not on the same page.
Well, he's also died a lot.
Yeah, we survived one round.
Yeah. So
he's not a great indictment.
Yeah, for sure. And his kills are not anywhere near to match it. So there's him and MHL not getting on, and then he just seems to be not getting on with his general footing of the game.
Yeah. It's also what I brought up earlier, is them two together would not have had a lot of games together. Can't be more than 5 officials, or that sort of number. So compared with Nerds and Surreal, who probably have, what's a reasonable guess, 30 officials playing these spots on Vertigo together, it's a big difference. Oof.
It really is. Just going to open up Mutiris on the track, going to find Nerds in the back of the head. So Nerds and Surreal, you mentioned both of them. They'll both fall. And that's it. sAw, they just kind of switch it up a bit. Once A stops working for them, they make their way towards B.
Yeah, I also remember that sAw have lent A almost every gun round. Endpoint have been playing free A in response, and finally sAw kind of pull the trigger and say, let's work B a little bit harder. Surreal goes down, and Nerds, he might get caught off guard, but he was dead to rights anyway. Best case scenario was 1 kill in a trade. This is brutal. Absolutely brutal. Really good call from sAw, honestly, to switch out of the A plays. I know it was kind of, they feel like they can keep going ramp because it's working so consistently, but they really did find a good timing there to switch into B.
Looking set to continue it then and get their 10 if they continue playing their cards right. But this T side already is really good from sAw. And some really nice reads in the middle of these rounds, to be fair. Just not really sure, you know, what to expect out of these teams when it comes to the way that Vertigo pans out. I've not seen them play on Vertigo an awful lot against each other, and I think, as you're mentioning, some of the individuals for Endpoint still really finding their footing on the CT side, but it's been all about the T sides, I will say that.
Yeah, it has been. So just kind of reflecting on the series, Endpoint have struggled on the CT side of every map in this series. T side, Inferno was brilliant. It was CT that let them down. Nuke was a really tough affair. And this is the same stroke there. CT sides are not as good at all today. They're relying on men like this. Nerds trying to bail them out. 2 fast kills. Does trade in their favor as Max finds another. Bomb is being picked up. Surreal is on his own for the moment, so he needs to at least stay alive and wait for a rotation. Can't just die here for nothing.
Very true, doing his best not to go down for nothing. Mighty Max mollied off. It's just going to be Surreal then. No real support on that B bomb site for at least 5 to 10 seconds. Have to let the bomb go down. Oh, but the nade from Surreal finishes off Mutiris. Now we've got a moment on our hands. Story against 3. Looking to deny them. Trying. No one's giving him anything, though. They will come to him eventually. Time dictates it. So, down goes the first. He's able to reposition. Cannot land it. And I think he would have been traded anyway. Defuse comes through. 9-6 at the turn of the half. Not bad, but not great for Endpoint in particular. So I think will be very happy with a 9-round lead there. And they obviously have had a solid attacking side where their CTNs have looked pretty decent as well. We'll see how it pans out. We've got to take a quick break first for this one. And then we'll be back, of course, with half two. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 9-6 at the turn of the half in favor of sAw. Pretty damn good T-side from them. However, Endpoint have had some good T-sides throughout the series, so we'll see if that trend continues for them.
Indeed, indeed. Forward and pistol, though. Making their way in. Max. Flash is primed. Definitely going to be a B hit. A lot of numbers here. Bomb as well. Heavy God's lurking in mid. As sAw, they've got a few players over. It's double mid stack. Double mid stack. They could push through and try and flank. As Endpoint are being a bit tricky here with the boost. That's a big kill from Heavy Gods to alleviate the pressure. And here we go. Surely going to pop up now. They got these players boosted wood.
Story over from Dupree. It's messy, but it sets up Muterius for two. He gets taken out by Nerds. Muterius is on a Glock up close and personal. Max cuts off a rotation. 2-on-2 then. With that bomb headed towards A, and Heavy God on a lurking presence. Jerks is here.
Max doesn't know.
Max does not know at all. He spotted the shadow just on the side, though. Jerks does get caught out in the open. There's Max having a big round. Finding the pistol, perhaps, for his boyos. We'll see. We'll see. Heavy God, like I said, is miles away from the action at this point, but it doesn't really matter. Muterius making so much noise. He's having a great game in and of himself, a great round in and of himself. He's going to have to ace to get this one done. And he just does not have the time to not make noise. Taps onto one, but it's Max comes around the corner for a 3K of his own. Absolutely massive pistol round for Endpoint, and at least they've got that going for them, Alan. Flawless in the pistols.
I mean, that was Maradona levels of divine intervention. I don't understand how he won it. It looked, in the very brief engagement, like, you know when you stand on the edge of the crane and your head goes up a little bit because you stand on the brick? Yep. I think his head went up just at the wrong time as U-Jerks was about to pull the trigger. That's what I think happened there. Oh, my lord. Well, I mean, I guess it's a little bit of karma for the antics on Inferno, but Endpoint need to build upon this. They've just been given a golden opportunity where Max 99 out of 100 times probably dies and the bomb drops default. So, can't drop the ball now. That would just be, you know, harrowing if they lose this round now.
Well, yeah, they kind of messed it up in the first half, right?
No! No!
Oh, God! That's horrible to watch. Absolutely horrible to watch. Jesus. Not good at all. He should have had one from there. Maybe even a few more with how, you know, just blasé they walked in. Speaking of blasé walking in, they're going to try it on the B-bomb site. Sirius gets spammed down. U-Jerk's taken out. Nerds is pretty angry here. 2 clean headshots, though. They need to watch themselves. Wait for Heavy God to come in from behind. Story's going to find another one on the deagle. Heavy God, though. Spray control is sound. Jesus, these rounds are mental, and we've only just started the second half.
You get the feeling if just one of those deagle kills had come from the stairs, suddenly that round really could have happened.
Oh, God. Ugh. Ugh. Even in slow motion, it hurts my eyeballs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him for being a bit trigger happy, because can you believe that nobody was looking the way you need to go up the stairs? It's just like, he's probably thinking, oh my god, somebody's going to come in any second and look at me, so... Wow. I mean, it feels like Endpoint are going through their, you know, their 9 lives at the moment. Can't be that many left.
Uh-oh, 5-man spam. Max has dropped the bomb. No, I think we're all good. MHL's gotten 3. Oh, maybe we're not all good. What is happening? Jesus, one of these rounds, man. I think they should be all good now. I'm pretty confident of that. USP against 2. Surely not. Yeah, 2 HP, and he will fall. But my
what would we do without Nerds?
Oh my god, these rounds are all over. 9-9 Endpoint. They have scrapped and battled just to convert the pistol. So surely sAw will now give them, you know, a taste of some nastier medicine once the guns come into play.
This is almost worse than coaching because I can't do anything about it. I can't change anything. It just, and I can see it coming. I can see the X-ray. I know what's going to happen. Oh, Lord, well. I mean, sAw might be dejected. They couldn't win that pistol and couldn't get the force buy through, but they get the money so low. MHL consistently actually here on Vertigo is finding some pretty big entries, so that is nice. Big kill, and Endpoint really needs a clean gun round. If they lose this round and lose all their money, oh my lord, that would hurt so much.
Yeah, it's opened up cleanly though, like you say. MHL thankfully giving them a kill to work with. With 1:10 left on the clock, some bits of aggression coming in from sAw. They definitely have scope and space to battle back. Not too sure though. Not too sure. Looks like it's going to be a B hit for Endpoint. Try and use the man advantage that they've accrued to great success.
Just needs to have the round of his life, doesn't he? I mean, he's got nades. He could smoke for on site, and indeed he does, so he's going to put the brakes on a little bit. Thing about Endpoint setup at the moment, they've still got Surreal. He's towards A. We've still got Heavy God in mid. There's options here. We do not need to force out B, but they need to make a decision because 30 seconds is not a lot of time. Someone needs to make a call, and God, they're so nervy. You can see it.
Just walking in, 20 seconds. Down goes Surreal. Flashes round for Just to work with. They should get the bomb plant in and extend. Ooh, play. Just, though, going to go creeping round and will find 2. That's surely got to seal the deal. It's just going to be MHL, in fact, to hold. Going to pull off a reload because he needs to. Well, it's going to have to be Heroic, and it will not happen at all. Doesn't even get the H out of Heroic. That'll be the 10th round going the way of sAw.
Oh, I mean, MHO had the entry there. MHO had the entry. They got a reasonably clean route onto the bomb site because... Didn't Surreal kill an A player as well? Wasn't that 5-on-3 for a couple seconds as well? And then just makes it out. So that is brutal. That nobody's covering the right side of the generator. And Just can make his way in. And they're out of money. They're out of money. They paid the price now for those anti-ecos being so horrifically close. And sAw, despite losing pistol rounds galore in this series, look like they're going to streak ahead here.
Yep, definitely does. A few jerks. Ooh. Little dodgy. The nade as well, also dodgy. The shots on the
It felt like he was taking a lot of damage there, but he took about 4.
I know, yeah. I think it's just through that wall. It must do absolutely minimal damage.
It looked like about 4 bullets hit him.
Well, what can I say? Counter-Strike. Heavy God going to get a little bit counter-striked as well as he tries to make his way out with the AWP. Not going to happen for him. 11 rounds coming in for sAw, looking really good here on the sAw side of things.
Heavy God has that kind of Jocko Deagle presence, doesn't he? He does. He just will. It's in his contract with Endpoint. He just will get a Deagle kill every time he's got one. Contractually obliged to find that. Here we go though. Guns are out. Nades aren't perfect for Endpoint. I mean, they've got plenty of smokes, which is definitely the biggest deal on a map like Vertigo, but not all the Molotovs. That could be an issue a little bit later on, come the executes. And for now, a very default opening. Just working the map.
Reload panned off. Just they've not spotted each other. There you go. Nertz eventually sees it, probably on the mini-map. 5-on-4, and a nice find for Endpoint to kick off their killing, kick off their fragging. Nertz still sticking around over here as well, so feeling pretty confident in himself. Definitely not stood on anything, but, you know, that is Counter-Strike. That is how it goes.
What's the call then? So we're leaving Story on A. He's alone. Other members are going to heavily lean on towards B, so a bit of a fall off there for Nertz, but not the end of the world. Re-smoke comes in at the top of the stairs. I really hate that re-smoke. Because you want to invite them in. You've got the stack here. If you push them back towards A, doesn't help you at all. Save the smoke for the after plant.
Autopilot, perhaps. Definitely seems to have gotten the better of sAw. 25 seconds left. They're still going to move towards B, even though it does look tough and it does look like it's stacked up. Oh, nuts with a quick frag. That was absolutely massive. Could have been an easy double spray down for Utiris, and could have been an easy one for you, Jerks. They're all getting traded out in very quick succession. 2 versus 1. Story on the AWP. He's actually going to try and move across to a different gun, perhaps. He thought there'd be one down. There isn't, so he has to go back to the AWP. And does he even give this 2v1 a go? It looks like he wants to. Heavy God should get the timing on him by the looks. And he does indeed. Down he goes. AWP to be recovered. Yep. So that's that. 10-11. Both teams really battling neck and neck for this one.
Yeah. I mean, Endpoint's getting entries a lot here. But it's not easy. Ooh, that was so close. That was really close. I thought the player peeking out quad behind that girder was going to get 2. But fortunately for Endpoint's sake, he didn't. And here we go. sAw have quickly depleted their cash. Story does have that AWP in play. And just going to peek wide. No, it's another opening pick. Great stuff from him. Used to be the mid player, but now is the B guy. And we're seeing this B position is starting to be fulfilled by some of the best players in the world, isn't it? I mean, Lorgs famously plays it for Sprout. And it's turning into a spot where you can eagerly look for fights. And I guess that's why Nertz is here. He's up for those duels.
Gonna jump up and try and find more. There is that MP9 that even on a shoulder peek, I would say it's risky. Very risky indeed. Doesn't go down on top of it. Through the smoke, Surreal finds Mutiris, Story's the only one then on this B-bomb site to stay alive. And somehow he does so. His teammates, unfortunately, are falling around him. Jumping noise going to be heard. He takes down MHL. These rounds are chaotic, to say the least, Alan. Just roaming against 3. I don't fancy his chances for this.
No, is there even a kit down? That would be very handy. First kill onto Max is found, but I don't see a kit anywhere. And Nertz, ever the closer, sends it into round 23, 11 apiece, and CDs are out of cash. Nertz is keeping them in this match. He keeps finding entry kills, and I like how Endpoint just kept a round very simple. There was just one smoke, one molly, go up, play together. No messing around with loads of utility and loads of, intricate timings, and yeah, a bit of a welcome change. I'd like to see more of that.
Well, sAw down to just the pistols. It should be the lead to come the way of Endpoint. Been a while since they've held such a lead. So yeah, really, really slogging out on Vertigo here. Also, much like our previous 2 maps, a 16-14 and a 16-12.
Really surprised they haven't gone A. Yeah, I know exactly what default they just ran, and
yeah,
off the noise they had, why wouldn't you clear A? And look at what's happening now. Oof. I mean, it's basically a nothing vibe. There's so many people here.
No, it only gets 1. In they will come, all 3 of them. Surreal trying to look to stay alive at the end of the day. Just can't get him down. Surreal having a lovely little triple there. He's had a tough kind of game, to be honest with you, but he stays alive, and importantly, he keeps AKs out of the hands of the sAw boys.
Yeah, I think Nurse's AK flew off the map as well. Certainly suspect the story is going to go in that direction. Why wouldn't you try and gather it up? So it's pretty low. I mean, moving around a lot here as that bomb gets planted. So Story in behind. I don't think that AK's anywhere near. Okay, all right. He does find it. What's he going to do? I guess commit to T-spawn. Keep on to that one. Where's their loss bonus at? I don't think he's going to have an AWP in the following. I mean, he could glass, I guess. Endpoint's T-sides look so much cleaner. So many fewer errors, so many, the parts make sense and they're moving together.
It does look good for me. I think that ultimately, the Endpoint T-side's been a lot, just kind of based off the picks, based off the individuals, but ultimately has all come together a little bit nicer than the sAw T-side. I don't know. I just think
there is a question here of what happens when Nerd stops killing everyone.
That is true. That is true.
What's going to change?
Turned it up, especially from that spot, right, which eventually they're going to get used to, and may well have been a large part of the talking there in the timeout they just had.
Pivotal round. We're getting towards the very business end of this series, and as we've mentioned, this is not for progression or elimination, but as is always the case with this sort of format, it's not a league format. We're not playing plenty of games. You do not want to fall down early. Falcons are down there. Sinners are down there. I know they've had their issues, but they definitely have the ceiling to knock both of these teams out if they really play their best CS. So, yeah, you just want to make your route as easy as humanly possible.
Yeah, I need to make sure that they're with it the whole way through, and it's rough. No one wants to be in the lower bracket, and especially not Endpoint. Mighty Max and MHL both open up cleanly, giving themselves a beautiful avenue to 13 and giving themselves a pretty good avenue to maybe deny another buy away from sAw.
They're respecting Nerds way too much. I mean, that was... They had 2 on B. They had the mid player with nades primed. That's how scared they are of this guy falling up and getting picks on them.
Just is going to drop him at the very least. But they just have so much manpower to work with that they can maybe afford to give a player away. It would just be good to, you know, see this utility mulage of MHL and Mighty Max come together on towards A, which looks to be the case. I think they want to go for the conventional execute in time. These are sloppy kills to be given away.
I don't think they're going to expect me serious.
Yeah, and Roman also just manages to keep chiming in. Surreal takes his head, but we shouldn't be in a 2 versus 2 here. 38 seconds. sAw. Respecting time, respecting space. MHL is the linchpin player coming in through middle. There's a player right next to him here. You just have to get the guessing game right. MHL is following in the footsteps. Oh, they're going to go round and...
Flank on flank on flank. Justice trying to come in behind as well.
This is such a mess. Never should have been this messy.
I mean, if he plants... That's really unfortunate. And now it becomes impossible. 9 seconds. Even saving might be out of the question. Justice needs to run. That's all he needs to do. And yeah, this one's over. I can't believe Justice crossed the angle again. Wow. Okay, all right.
A ballsy move, to say the least. But a 5-on-3...
You just sprint, right? You just run over the bridge. You can't do anything.
Yeah. I don't know. He fancied more attempts. More fights is what he was after. But yeah, 5-on-3. The one silver lining that you can kind of see here is the money goes all the way down to the bottom once again. They have an MP9 out in the hands of Mutiris. But Endpoint should be winning that every day.
Yeah, they need to convert those. I mean, the position the court Heavy got off guard was, you know, it was a bit unusual. It was an off angle, but where's the trades? I mean, at least hammer bullets through yellow. You know where he is. Tricky one. You're not going to get many chances like that. And as we're saying, it's just, you know, the last round it was a mid take that went perfectly. We had a lot of nerds entries. It's not going to continue. They're not going to get the entries every single time. It's just not the way it works. It will go back in saw's favor at some point. And Max, oh, the flash is awful timing. Oh, is that a team flash? That looked really awkward.
Yeah, not sure. May well
I think it might have been. I don't know who would have thrown it if it was a CT flash. Maybe Story as he came over, but that was really unfortunate. Max had that kill nailed on.
Yeah. MHL going to go down, getting cheeky at Ivy. Roman continues to roam in, and he will continue to frag. So Endpoint were in the lead, but it was a brief one, and now sAw they look set with a 5v3 of their own to retake the lead.
It's a tricky angle. I mean, Heavy God's going to peek from above. Makes noise. It's always ready. So much damage. Max might get the trade, but he's so low. They can just pepper bullets through the smoke. 30 seconds, and Nerds needs to be an absolute colossus. Nobody's presenting fights. sAw understand the magnitude of where we are at in this game. There's no point getting overzealous. And it looks like a save. It looks like a save is going to throw Endpoint's money out of balance as well for good measure. I mean, as much as for both teams, it's been a scrappy affair. You've got to give sAw credit. They've got a lot of grit staying in these games.
Counter-terrorists win.
Very, very tough. I think Nerds ultimately will have been the talk of that timeout that sAw took a few rounds ago, and I think they've just kind of said, as you so rightly pointed out, that just stop giving the fights across to him, stop playing aggressive, stop playing, you know, even aggressive angles, and just keep it safe. And what can the rest of the team do at the end of the day? Endpoint are going to take a timeout of their own, so we are going, you know, all the way down to the wire on this one. I don't think it'll be the last timeout that we see in this series either.
No.
Question of overtime.
Not after you've committed this much energy.
Yeah, right.
You've come so close. You had a 5-on-3 to push this a long way through.
I know.
Similar story on Nuke, wasn't it, when they were streaking ahead? I mean, it can't keep coming down to these pivotal moments where they're in a massive advantage. At least lose on your terms, you know? At least lose because, you know, they've made some really good calls or they've put you out of position or whatever. One of the players is playing super well. Don't lose because you've given up really good situations.
Oh, massive nade damage. Yeah, and Mutiris in the perfect spots to find all these frags, shoot off all the toes. That's got to be the round just said and done before it even begins.
I mean, how many nades is this? This is ridiculous. I think U-Jerks uses nades from mid as well on towards that kind of B lobby area. That is, I mean,
Ooh.
I think
Just finding ahead of
fall off the map.
It looked like he may have done, yeah, that surprise factor that came his way. U-Jerks and Just going to finish off the proceedings, 14-12.
Yeah.
It's all looking good then, and even the buy here is not going to be great from any Endpoint side.
And for for the first time, saw's got money in the bank. They got a little bit of breathing space. Some pivotal calls to follow. As we've seen from sAw, they've decided on B, there's to have no middle ground. We're either going to dump all the nades in the world and make sure they can't fight us, or we'll do the opposite. We'll fall back. We won't give a fight. It's no longer just playing, jiggle round, see what Nurse is doing, because he's going to remove your head if you do that. So I actually really like how sAw have adapted on the CD side. They seem to be getting in their groove, don't they?
Surreal
Yeah,
down
so
to
low.
3 HP. This is another great start for the sAw side of things. They continue to melt these players, and their confidence looks at an all-time high. U-Jerks, flash comes in, down goes Mighty Max through the backpack. Down goes Surreal because he was only on 3 HP anyway. This is not good. 15 is on the horizon for sAw.
Yeah.
I think if they continue to play it like this, they should get it.
I mean, an even bomb plant from this position would be a result, wouldn't it? Endpoint's loss bonus must be pretty well racked up, so if they could get a plant, at least it's a buy. I mean, this is still 12 rounds. It's not unthinkable they could claw it back, but I don't know. It's starting to crumble, isn't it? We've got a boost here on the rebar below them. Noise keep giving away. I'm not sure if Mutirius would have heard that. He's peeking back through and shouldn't really be offering up the fight. They know they got an advantage and just getting frustrating because Endpoint just can't find a duel right now.
Yeah, tough indeed. Heavy God gets flustered by two of them being there at the same time. A little bit surprised even. 4 versus 2. Nerds and MHL. Two of the stronger members. They've been performing very, very well across the course of this series. Nerds gets spotted on the edge of the smoke just as well. Pushes through. That's 15. 3 in a row required, and it starts off with a terrible buy for Endpoint.
Oh, no. No, not like this.
I think it is going to be like this.
Exactly what I said, though, wasn't it? As soon as Nerd starts getting his entries,
Yeah.
what else is there? What is the plan? What are we doing? Something that's really worth mentioning is Surreal used to be the B player. He's now playing A. MHL, of course, reasonably new to the team. They're really struggling to get stuff done on A, and look at the call. Full aggression on B. They just know that B's the only place that's worked. Nerds trying to hold them in this game. Does get an entry. Nailed. Going to drop him to the ground, and this is just brutal. There's so many shots being exchanged. Wow. This side can get peppered with nades. This bomb plant might not be so easy.
It does come in pretty easily, though, Alan. They get their hands onto it, and
Yeah,
a nice
I'm
smoke on
stunned
top of the
that
Molotov.
HGs weren't flying, to be honest.
Yeah. They do there. They go for a triple nade there, and there's no one around. So, could have had that onto the bomb site, to be fair. I think sAw also are victims a little bit of being timid. In comes the AK. Roman only good for 1. Heavy God with this generator control. It's just so influential. And it seems like they are holding to save. Oh, U-Jerks maybe on a bit of a disconnect. We hear the chat going. So that's very unfortunate for the retake situation. Nonetheless, Endpoint going to find 13.
I think they would have lost it anyway. Not that there's much consolation, but I think they would have lost it anyway. I didn't see any DC'd, but it looked like... It was certainly after the triple nade, of course, so... Yeah, I think sAw will watch that round back and say we could have used those nades better. They had so much damaging utility. And, yeah, it's very important as a team to have the conversation of how do we prioritize nades? Where goes, do we molly here first or here? And it just kind of felt like they sort of naded the most pointless spot, I've got to be honest. Could have gone for default. Could have mollied Dupree. These are really damaging spots. Close right is a pretty easy clear. But we just await. The HUD says U-Jerks is here, but we can see he's not there, is he? So,
yeah. Time will tell. We'll try and keep you updated, folks. Hopefully, not going to be too long. There you go. The HUD properly updated, so it all makes sense now. But yeah, not really sure. Looks like a timeout to me. A classic DC. Someone's kicked a cable in his apartment building, or maybe in his home. He may well have, you know, some bricks and mortar.
I kind of like how in the last round, Endpoint just recognized that these slow rounds, these AD defaults, just are not working whatsoever. We just got to send it on B. And Nerds, of course, gets in that entry, so I don't think they're going to never get any world they're going to get away with that again, but yeah. At least they got the balls to say, we can't default. Let's do something a bit mad.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. And as we said, even before the DC, it probably would have worked. Sounds like he is on his way back here, folks, so just sort of bear with us, and we should be back in a couple minutes, apparently. It's live on the main server, so shouldn't take us too long here to get back through.
Yeah, it looks like
always good.
Looking at the money here on sAw, wait to see what New Jerks is at, but at least with 1 or 2 saves, I'm pretty sure we're looking at 2 full buys here, so
yeah.
It's pretty stiff resistance. It's not going to be easy for Endpoint to claw overtime out of this game.
No, that is true. That is very true.
What could have been if they close out that 5-on-3? It's a
know.
really different complexion. It's the money is not here for sAw. It's 14 all. You know, it's a very different looking half now at the later stages. That's
they really
how it
have to
is.
stew in that now as well.
Yeah.
They've sat here for a few minutes to kind of think about that at the back of your mind. It'll only be natural as a pro player to, you know, go over those types of rounds. If only I'd done X, Y, and Z differently.
I guess some credit to sAw. They don't seem to be. I mean, if they get a big advantage, if they're against pistols, they are converting a lot of them. It's not. Endpoint have definitely lost a lot more against low buys, no doubt. You know what? I wouldn't have a barbecue that high.
No, I think it would be a bit silly. That's also a massive barbecue.
You probably needed the crane to get it. You need another crane to get it up there.
Yeah. That's the big question of this. Is not, should we be having a barbecue this high up in an
They
unfinished...
had to use the cranes
like,
to get the barbecue up. and then swing it in the side a little bit or something.
After all that, you just use one of those crappy plastic garden chairs.
Yeah, and you see they've got there's like a cool box, isn't it, there?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, how the hell do you get that up with all the meat when you actually want to cook something? Like,
and where's
you can
the
do
lid?
like hang it from
Where's the
yourself
lid,
as you climb up.
And there's nothing in it. Oh man, it's just
I
little
thought
things
all
like
cranes
that. in
have,
CS.
don't all cranes have lifts these days or something?
I do
Or
not
do they
know.
still use ladders?
I can't say my crane knowledge is that strong.
Right, if anybody's
probably,
watching
right,
and they
health
are
and
a
safety
crane
wise.
operator or know a crane operator, please tweet at me with
Yeah,
how
you'd
they
think-
actually get up to the top these days.
You'd think health and safety wise, there's no way they're still using ladders in the year of our Lord 2023. But I don't know. I couldn't tell you with confidence how trains function. That's not the word. Cranes function. Either way, we're back into the action after a brief pause. Big nade damage to come through. Oh, and a couple of return frags. It's always Nerds, isn't it, on that refrag gameplay. Looking good. 4-on-4 straight out the gate.
Justice gonna have nightmares about Nerds no matter how this ends. Crikey. Stories on the Engineer is surreal, not ready for it. Doesn't have teammates either to help.
Story is crisp. Story is very
Yeah, the
crisp
wheels
indeed.
starting to fall off. This is not looking good.
Yep, and they get down a late smoke. Late bit of nadage. Minute left, but it's going to be about 45 before they can really make a move. Nerds flash comes in. He's low HP.
Feels like Story's been there a lot, so I'm a little bit surprised he was offered up an opportunity. Nurse is low HP. Story's on the angle. This is massively advantageous for Story. Nurse is going to have to do something unbelievable unless some nades can help, and I think they're so primed to save these for the late round.
Flash comes
there.
round. Yeah, it's just ineffective, unfortunately. He's too strong, too well positioned. Mutiris takes out Heavy God on the other side of the map. It's all down to MHL. Against 4 to keep Endpoint alive. Not going to happen for him. The AWP rings true. 16-13, the 2-1 finish for sAw. They will move forwards, importantly, into the upper bracket finals. And indeed, that coveted spot over at Pro League is going to be available for them. Unfortunately, not available for Endpoint just yet. They go down to the lower bracket. where they will have to face off against, again, as we said, some very, very, very scary. Let's see, where are we at? I think they'll probably have to